I'm slow, right?
Mentally.
Oh my God, mentally, okay. I'm talking about I'm slow in the boxing ring, right?
Mentally.
I'm talking about the boxing ring, what you was talking about. I'm slow, right?
Mentally.
Okay, you gonna see. I promise you, gonna see.
Teo, to Shakur's point, you seem to be the guy that rises to the level of your competition. When you were going against Loma, people felt you were the underdog. Josh Taylor, the same thing. And those are the fights where you really showcased your skills and abilities and upset the odds. Is this another fight where you're coming in there with that mentality to upset the odds?
Just put him in front of me and I'll beat him. Not about the odds. It's about, I guess defining them. You define the odds. Everybody's against you, great. That's when you know you're doing great. I put a thing out there. It's like, if you want to be liked in this sport, be a good boxer. You want to be loved in the sport, be the best boxer. But if you want to be hated in this sport, including the odds, be the greatest boxer.
This sit-down interview looked calm on the surface, but don't get it twisted. The tension was doing push-ups under the table. You could feel it the moment they started revisiting the past. Amateur days, promotions, who got pushed first, who felt overlooked. That's where it got spicy.
No, yeah, I'm thinking, I don't know if it's 2011 or 2012 National Junior Olympics, or Junior National Golden Gloves. And I remember seeing him. He was wearing a white tank top. I think it was red and white trunks. And he was just whooping on dude bad. And that's when I noticed we were both cleaning up our divisions leading up to the finals. He ended up winning. I ended up, coming in second.
Did you first become aware of Teo?
It's so crazy. So like when I first kind of got aware of Teo, it was probably before he even knew me. But I used to get on YouTube. And I used to watch like the DMV fight, and I seen one of his fights up there, and I kind of watched him. I thought he was a good fighter, and that's when I kind of got a first whiff of Teo. But when I finally first met him, probably was the same time he talking about.
Shakur casually saying he felt a little jealousy. Teofimo snapping back with "I just didn't care." And suddenly we're not talking boxing history anymore. We're talking ego scars that never healed.
I was good with Teo. I thought Teo was a little jealous of me. That's what I thought.
Yeah, he was getting the fights that you were calling for Loma. He got Loma.
Yeah.
Did you see him as a future foe?
I think that everything just plays out the way it does, and eventually we was gonna end up meeting up with each other eventually. I had never seen any jealousy in my part with him. I mean, for crying out loud, he fought for Team USA, he got a silver medal. And,
not during them times though,
and
bro.
The whole thing
not
was
during them times. I'm speaking on the times where I felt like you had a push start. You got the you used to be ahead of me far as like ESPN only like black fighters and all that kind of stuff. And when you said that, I kind of felt like it was a shot at me. So I felt like it was a little bit of jealousy.
No, I just didn't give an F. That's all.
Cool.
I just didn't give an F about it at all.
Then Teo starts talking about making Shakur quit or knocking him out, and you can literally hear the room tighten up. Shakur's response was cold though, not loud, just deadly calm, basically saying, "You really think I'm slow?" Which is one of those lines that ages horribly for somebody by fight night.
How do you feel when you hear a guy say he might not just stop you, but he might make you quit in the fight?
Make me quit is crazy. Like, I don't got no quit in me, but it's cool. He's supposed to feel that way. Like, he's supposed to say the things that he's saying. He's not saying nothing out of the ordinary or something that I didn't expect. Only thing that I kind of took away, he got on a podcast, I want to say, he said that I was slow. And that's the part where I'm like, okay, he's going to be very surprised come fight night, to where it's like, you really thought I was slow? Like, is that something like you put in your brain and thought it was about to come out there and work?
Teofimo sounds like a man defending territory, like this is his house and someone's touching the furniture. Shakur sounds like a guy who's waited years for this moment and doesn't care whose house it is. If this is how sharp it got sitting across a podcast table, imagine what 12 rounds in the ring is going to feel like when words stop working.
If you gonna beat me,
no,
what are
I
we
know what
talking
I'm
about?
gonna do. I know what I'm
so
gonna do.
So you gonna erase my name?
I know what I'm going to do.
This 140.
Basically, what I'm trying to let you know is that boxing ain't gonna allow it.
But how boxing not gonna allow it?
It won't.
How?
Cause now you facing me.
Oh shit, I'm so scared. Tio, I'm frightened. I'm scared for my life. I'm facing you. Ooh. That shit don't move me, bro. I can't wait to see you. I've been waiting on this. Yo, I don't know how you don't understand. I've been waiting on this moment forever. Like, it's been years and years for this moment right here. You gave me the opportunity. I appreciate you for that. But come with it. Facts.
And while all that tension is simmering on camera, here's the part that should really have Teofimo paying attention. Shakur isn't talking, he's relocating. He's up in Colorado Springs at D1 training, breathing that thin air, stacking rounds where fatigue doesn't negotiate and bad habits get exposed fast. That's Crawford country, and you don't go there for vibes, you go there to sharpen blades.
It's all fun and games, man. We just in here having fun, joking around and letting them get some experience. You know, when you boxing, you got to box in front of a lot of different people. So being that they in front of a lot of people right now, we kind of gassing it up, making it feel like it's an atmosphere of a fight. So I enjoyed it.
This isn't flashy Instagram work or headline chasing. This is quiet, disciplined, high-altitude grind where timing gets cleaner and lungs get stubborn. When a fighter like Shakur takes his camp there, it tells you exactly what kind of fight he's preparing for. Not chaos, not ego, not crowd energy, precision, endurance, late-round control.
Yeah.
They got it.
Let me see what that.
That's good.
I feel great. You know, sprints kind of be getting me right, you know, get my conditioning right. You know, sometimes in a fight could turn into a sprint. Cause it's like, start the pace fast as hell and then they can't keep up the pace. But the sprints will kind of get you in shape to where once you break down, sometimes you get a second win. Then you get another win, then you get another win after that. So I did the sprints a lot in a Jamel Herring fight. That's why you seen me fight at a fast pace. And then once I slowed down, I picked it back up and I had all the energy in the world to do it. So we locked in. Let's get it.
That elevation work is about making sure that when Teo is still explosive, Shakur is still thinking clearly. And it's about turning patience into a weapon and conditioning into confidence. So while Teofimo is talking about dominance and territory, Shakur is up there stacking invisible advantages, building the kind of engine that doesn't show up in trash talk, but shows up when the rounds get uncomfortable. And that's the scary part, because when the talking stops, altitude doesn't care about height.
So far, it came going great. We about a month away from fight day. Everything going according to plan. Core look great, man, great. He getting the rounds in. Everything going according to schedule. We coming for the victory. You know, me as a trainer, I don't train to go the distance. I think that's wear and tear on the body. You put all the work in camp to make the fight night as easy as possible, and that's what he gonna do.
And right after talking about Shakur locking himself away in Colorado Springs, breathing that high altitude air, and sharpening everything at D1 like he's prepping for a 12-round chess marathon, the conversation naturally snaps back to New York, because that's where all this tension is about to collide. I'm listening to Paulie and Chris on Boxing Scene and thinking, yeah, this is the grown man table now. No hype merchants, no echo chamber, just fighters who've actually felt what Madison Square Garden does to your legs and your nerves. And they're dead right. The Garden isn't just a venue, it's a stress test. For Shakur, it's validation. For Teofimo, it's gasoline.
Because Teofimo is at his most dangerous when when he's counted out. And this is going to be one of those fights where he's going to be counted out. Because Shakur is looked at by and large as the guy who can dominate boxing in this generation, right? It's just a matter of him getting the opportunity. I myself have felt that he's the guy who could and should be dominating boxing if he gets the right matchups. But bro, this is one of the rare matchups, if not maybe the only matchup, where I feel like it's a big threat here to Shakur.
You can almost hear it in the way they talk about him. The more people doubt Teo, the more dangerous he becomes, like his confidence runs on disrespect. We've seen this movie before. When Teofimo is relaxed and everyone expects him to win, he can drift. When his back's against the wall and the crowd is split, that's when he locks in and starts doing things that make you question physics. Meanwhile, Shakur is the opposite energy. He doesn't need chaos to perform. He needs clarity. He's the guy who shows up early, sits quietly, and still aces the exam while everyone else is cramming. And that contrast is exactly why this fight feels different. Paulie saying this might be one of the only real threats to Shakur isn't disrespect, it's honesty.
And then they would all come undone only because of this reason. Teofimo Lopez, we've seen him at his best, but he typically brings out his best characteristics when he's back against the wall and he's counted out. And he's going to be counted out in this fight. By and large, people are going to side with Shakur in this fight to win the fight because he's the more consistent fighter, he's the more class fighter overall, and he's just so good. But Teofimo has a way, when you're so good and he knows you're so good and everybody feels like you're gonna beat him.
Shakur might be the cleaner, more consistent fighter, but Teofimo is the rare variable that doesn't behave predictably. He can rise to the moment in ways that mess with logic, timing, and betting slips. And I love how they framed New York itself as part of the fight, because it is. This isn't Vegas where everything's controlled and polished. This is MSG where boos feel personal and cheers feel like pressure. Teofimo hears that noise and sometimes turns it into fuel. Shakur hears that noise and tunes it out like background static. Two totally different operating systems, same ring, and the odds conversation just adds another layer.
When it came to Bosis, he was not good. He did not. It was not a good night.
Oh, like a street fight.
Yeah, it was shots. And I think I was a guest on that on the call for that show, and I said I got one guy fighting with ego and I got one guy fighting with discipline, and that's what it was because he just went out there and was just trying to knock him out from round one, and it was not working out well. Now, is he going to do that against Shakur? Absolutely not. But also, we've seen him struggle with guys like Jermaine Ortiz. We've seen him struggle with who was the Canadian guy who I mean, not that he struggled, but he failed to really impress.
Sandor Martin.
Sandor Martin, another one.
On paper, Shakur should win. Cleaner, smarter, less volatile. But boxing doesn't happen on paper. It happens in moments, and Teofimo lives for moments. That's the danger. That's why this fight feels necessary. It's not just about belts or rankings. It's about whether discipline beats volatility or volatility disrupts discipline. And when fighters who've been there tell you, I wouldn't bet on this one, that's not fence sitting. That's respect for how unpredictable greatness can be. This isn't a safe fight. It's a real one. And that's exactly why we're all locked in.
He called out Josh Taylor, a weight class below, and years out, said I could beat that guy. He called out Jaron Ennis. Obviously he didn't fight Jaron, but when him and his father put their heads together and they see something in a guy and they end up taking a fight like this, that's dangerous where he's the underdog, watch out.
And right after Paulie and Chris laid out that whole danger versus discipline argument like two guys who've actually bled under those lights, the tone quietly shifts when Buddy McGirt steps in, and you can feel the room calm down in that serious way. I'm listening to him and thinking, yeah, this isn't hype, this is conviction. No dramatic pauses, no hot takes for clicks, just a guy who's seen generations of talent saying, nah, Shakur is different. And what I love is how simple he keeps it. Not athleticism debates, not who's louder, not who sells more tickets. Control, that's the word. Buddy's basically saying you can't rush Shakur, you can't bully him, and you definitely can't just swing your way into a miracle. If you're Teofimo, you don't get to rely on bravado or explosions. You have to outthink the guy who lives in chess mode. And that's a brutal assignment. The way Buddy talks about Shakur's style, it's like describing someone who's already halfway through the movie while everyone else is still watching the trailer.
I mean, to me, they have two different styles. You know what I mean? And Shakur just has a style that, to appreciate it, you got to be a real boxing person.
Yeah, because when I say athleticism, it's like explosiveness and twitch. But isn't Shakur with the timing and the distance? It's more subtle.
Calm, relax. You know what I mean? He can do whatever he can take control at any time when he wants to.
Is it like more efficient? Like Teo will cross arm and use all these reflexes. Then Shakur will just take a little half step back.
That's it.
Is that more
efficient?
It's all
about control. It's all about control.
How competitive a fight do you think it's going to be?
It's going to be a very good fight. I mean, it's a fight, and it's in the right place, New York. I've always said, I said years ago in an interview, if that fight happens, it's got to be in New York.
He's smooth, but not in a flashy way. Smooth like nothing you're trying is working and you don't know why. That's the scary part, and when a trainer who's watched killers come and go says he's the best out of all these guys, that's not a jersey bias or a soundbite. That's someone quietly telling you levels exist. And the second thing that really hits is how Buddy frames the upset path, because he doesn't sugarcoat it. He's basically saying if you think Teofimo can just go in there and turn this into a firefight, you're already lost. I'm sitting there nodding, because that's the truth fans don't like to hear. This isn't about who's tougher or who has more highlight clips. This is about concentration, patience, and being just as sharp mentally as Shakur is for 12 straight rounds. That's exhausting, and Buddy's not disrespecting Teo at all. He actually respects him enough to say the quiet part. To beat Shakur, you have to be smarter than you've ever been, not wilder.
Shakur, definitely.
Why is that?
He's the best at that weight. No one's going to beat him at that weight. You know, he can go up to 47 and win a title. That's how good he is.
I mean,
And, it's going to be a good fight. I'm glad it's finally happening, you know, a good fight in boxing where you got two very skilled fighters. And look, I love Teofimo. You know, I picked him to beat Lomachenko. You know what I mean? But I just think that Shakur's on another level.
And how many fighters actually pull that off when the pressure hits? That's why his prediction lands so heavy. He's not guaranteeing a blowout. He's saying Shakur wins because he controls when the fight breathes. Half step back, reset, take your confidence, take your rhythm, take the round. Over and over. And when Buddy casually says Shakur impresses him more than everyone else, even the biggest names, that's not a diss. That's perspective. This isn't a loud pick. It's a calm warning. If you're facing Shakur Stevenson, you're not just fighting a man. You're fighting someone who already knows where you're going before you decide to go there.
Kid, I remember Shakur as a kid when he was an amateur. And I always tell him, kid, he's just special, man. He's special.
What's Teo, if he can pull it, like if you were his trainer, what would be the game plan you think to try to pull off what would be an upset?
You gotta be double smart. You can't go in there and think you're gonna bully him. You can't think you're gonna go in there and palm him out. You gotta be extra smart.
So when you stack all of this together, the picture gets real clear. This fight isn't about who yelled louder at a table or who looked tougher on a mic. It's about preparation versus unpredictability, discipline versus volatility, altitude work versus emotional fuel. You've got Shakur Stevenson moving in silence, sharpening timing, lungs, and decision making like every round is already mapped out. And on the other side, you've got Teofimo Lopez thriving in doubt, feeding off pressure, capable of moments that flip logic upside down when you least expect it. Every voice we've heard, fighters, trainers, analysts, all circle the same truth from different angles. This isn't a gimmick fight. This is a real risk for both men. One mistake, one emotional slip, one bad read, and the whole narrative changes. That's why this matchup feels different. There's no safety net, no easy storyline, just two elite fighters trying to prove whose way of thinking actually holds up when the ring gets small and the rounds get heavy.
But Shakur's on point, man. You got to be just as on point as he is. And that takes a different level of concentration.
Unanimous decision then for Shakur?
I don't know, man. I don't know, but I see him winning. I see Shakur winning, definitely.
Who do you see impresses you just a little bit more? I know they're both excellent. Haney
Shakur.
or Shakur?
Shakur.
Now I want to hear from you. Who do you trust more when the pressure peaks? Shakur's calm control or Teofimo's ability to explode when he's counted out? Drop your take in the comments. Let's really debate this one. And yo, don't ever forget to like, share, and subscribe to Boxing Headquarters. See you in the next one.